What is up, my beautiful people? I am back with another video. I am going to try to make this video as quick as possible. I know my videos have been quite long. I don't know. I just try to jumble in as much information as I can as quickly as possible. But I will try to speed this one up a little bit. But I am going to be touching on our bloodline and our ancestors and knowing thyself and who we truly originated from. I did want to start off by saying thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate your company, and I want to thank you from the heart and tell you that I truly appreciate you for watching this video. But without further ado, I just want to jump straight into it and play this quick video. It's not going to be long. I'm not going to play the whole video, guys. This is from my brother Kalai, but this is the beginning of the video. It's things that I want to elaborate on before jumping into my lecture. So bear with me, people.
There's only one type of human being on Earth that doesn't appear to have been seeded here by extraterrestrial races. In other words, most of the human beings on this planet are not local. The white person did not exist on Earth prior to about 10,000 to 11,000 years ago. That's when we started to have the first interbreeding occurring that led to blue-eyed, white-skinned people.
Science will say that
So what he was saying right there at the beginning, just the beginning of the video, he was speaking on how the black people, the melanated beings of this planet, are the original beings of this planet. And he said that any other race besides or outside of the melanated race was genetically modified or genetically created to be a human in today's days. So they are genetically spliced with animals. They have they are 98% of their DNA, is mixed with chimpanzees. And this is not only for the Caucasians, this is also for the Davidians, the Asians, the Mexicans. They are a Neanderthal, and that's pretty much what they were what he was speaking on.
environment, climate is what did this over, thousands and thousands of years. Do you accept that at all? I guess not.
You can't explain why climate, for example, would lead to physiological differences such that Asian people have very different looking upper eyelids, and the whole structure of the skull is different in shape. And you have African people that have much larger noses, much larger lips. The conventional explanation is that white people's noses are taller because
we tend to have low self-esteem, and we hate ourselves and our image because we feel as though we look furthest from God or this Jesus Christ character simply because we have a big nose, big lips, and darker skin. Now this what are we gonna call it? This Masonic being that was genetically put together psychologically by another humanoid, we don't look anything like this being. We share no connections. We share no we have no true identity. We share no identity with this being, which is why we lack self-love, which is why we lack self-appreciation, simply because we feel as though we are the furthest away from God. And we look at these Caucasians and we praise these Caucasians because we feel as though we should be looking like them, when in fact they want to look like us. They aren't the true beings of this planet. We are the true beings. So if you only knew who you originated from and who were the original beings of this planet, you would love to be yourself. You would love your nose. You would love your lips. You would love your kinky hair, because you are the organic. You have no animal in your DNA. You have no hair like animals. Your hair is not like what, quote unquote, what they would say, wool hair or dog hair. That's why they smell like dogs when they sweat. That's why they are born with tails, because they share DNA with animals. They are genetically spliced. And by us feeling as though we don't look like this Jesus character with blue eyes, thin nose, and thin lips, we pretty much hate ourselves. and we have low self-esteem, and we don't have any respect for ourselves as well as others, because we feel as though we should be looking like this psychological created being that doesn't even exist.
It's cold weather, and they cool the air down on the way in. Black people's noses are flatter because the air is hotter, and they don't need to cool it down. That's very, very hypothetical. There's no real science to back that up. It's just a supposition.
Human beings came from another planet, not Earth, the new book claims, which is not so new now. But a new book by American ecologist Dr. Ellis Silver argues that humans may well not be from Earth and may have
We aren't from Earth, guys. We were born here. We were brought through here through our mother's portal, but we aren't originally from here. We are not the body, and I cannot express this enough. We are not this physical vessel that we are in. We are the soul. So by us being the soul, we aren't originally from here. We were brought here for a specific reason, but we were not created here on a ninth dimensional level, not on a third dimensional level, because I know most of you may be thinking, well, my mom and my dad had sex, so now I'm here. No. You had to go through a process. Your ancestors, you share the same DNA as your ancestors through your bloodline, which is what I will be going into in a second, but we aren't originally from here. Now, the European race or the artificial race, they were genetically modified and created here. You can look at them as lab rats, because yes, they were created here, and then they pretty much made their babies, and they wanted to, let's say, be more and more like us, so they took from us and they raped us and they abused us and created their own beings, or their own deities, excuse me. But yeah, I'm going to get into that in a second.
Separately. Silver offers arguments based on human physiology that suggest we may not evolve alongside other life on Earth, but arrived from elsewhere, brought here by aliens as recently as few tens of thousands of years ago. Silver, an environmentalist who is currently working with the effort to clean plastic debris from the Pacific, says his book aims to provoke debate and is based on scientific work on the difference between humans and other animals. Quote, "The Earth approximately meets our needs as a species, but perhaps not as strongly as whoever brought us here initially thought."
Exactly, which brought me back to my last point. Our ancestors, our true deities, our creators, our real creators, where we originally came from, was where we came from. This was not where we were created. We are not genetically spliced. We were not man-made. We are the
Lizards can
soul.
sunbathe for as long as they like, and many of them do. We can just go get away with it for a week or two, but day after day in the sun, forget it. You might as well just lie on the freeway and wait for the bus to hit you.
Now, guys, this is just 3 days for a Caucasian in the sun. That was just
Humans and other
3
animals.
days.
Quote, "The
Of
Earth
a
approximately meets
Caucasian
our needs as a
being in the
species, but
sun.
forget it.
Let me go back.
You might as well just
Right here. What? This is just a Caucasian sunbathing for 2 days. Now, if a black being was to go in the sun and sunbathe, we can do this. We can sunbathe for weeks at a time and nothing would happen. Now, we do got some people out there who, of course, have their own, they are on an irregular diet, which may cause skin peeling or quote unquote sun burning, which is basically the sun cleansing you from all of those toxins that you put into your body previously. We don't burn, the sun doesn't burn us. We can take the sun. We are the sun. Now, this is what happened to extraterrestrial beings who sit in the sun, who are not organic to this planet, who has no connection with the sun at all whatsoever. But if we were to go sit in the sun and do this, we can sit into the sun. We can absorb the sun for as long as we want. We are the sun. That's where we originally, that's our original us. That's us. So if we were to sit in the sun and, like I said, just so happen to peel Ask yourself what you're eating. Ask yourself what are you intaking that is not for you. These dairy products, these meat products, these bloody animals that you are intaking. Ask yourself, should you truly be having that, or should you be like the sun, like a plant,
Just lay on
intaking
the
water and
freeway and
sunlight?
wait for the bus to hit you.
Just lay on the freeway.
No other
and wait
truly
for the
native
bus to hit you.
species on this planet has this problem,
No
he
other
says.
truly native
Silver
species on this
also
planet
points
has this
out
problem,
the
he
extra
says.
223
Silver also
genes in
points
human
out
beings,
the extra
which are not found in any other
223
species,
genes
and to
in
the
human
lack of
beings,
fossil
which are
missing
not found in
link.
any other species. and to
Silver
the
also
lack of
claims that the
fossil
human
missing
race
link.
has defects that mark us
Silver
out
also
of
claims that
being
the human
possibly
race has
not of this
defects
world,
that mark us out
only
of being
animal,
possibly
found
not
in
of
any
this
other
world.
missing link.
Now, what they
Found
just
in
shown
any
right
other
here
missing link.
is Caucasians with tails, and which what I was just speaking on that. They are genetically spliced. They are Neanderthal. Black people don't have any Neanderthal within their DNA. Now, Caucasians, Asians, Davidians, Europeans, however you want to look at it, they are 98% chimpanzee. They have animal DNA within their DNA. They are genetically spliced, which means they have multiple varies of DNA within their DNA, which then is when the parts of whatever they were spliced with tends to show. That's why you see some of them with tails. That's why sometimes when they sweat, they smell like dogs. They have hair like dogs. They have that straight hair. We have kinky hair. Some may even be born with hooves and like hooks coming out of their foreheads, because that is their that's within them. That's within their DNA. But that's pretty much what I wanted to touch on in this video. And yeah, if you guys want to go check this video out, you're more than welcome to. This was posted by my brother Kalai, and what I did want to speak on was the bloodline and our true creators. So let me go, because I really don't have anything for you guys to watch while I am elaborating, but I can put some true art up, guys, some real art. Now, if you look at this in a sexual way, then that's just on you. But this is true love. When I see this picture, I see true love, and he is honoring his queen. She is honoring her king. Period. There's no. If you're looking at this in a third dimensional mindset, then yeah. But anyways, moving forward. So, who are our ancestors, guys? Some of you may be asking yourself, who are our ancestors? You may think, oh, they're just our physical grandmas and grandpas who were here once before, but they passed or whatnot. But our ancestors are intellectual, intelligent entities who constructed our DNA. So, like I was mentioning before, the Caucasians, they were genetically spliced. Their DNA was created by another person. But us, we were created by intellectual, intelligent entities from other dimensions, not from this planet here. So whatever race you are, you belong to your own group of entities, like I just mentioned. Now, this lecture here is specifically for the black race, or colored race, because black is not a color. We are colored people, and yeah, I'm not being biased, however you want to look at it, but this is directly towards my melanated colored beings, my true God beings. But anyways, black people inhabited all parts of the world 6,000 plus years ago. We were originally here 6,000 plus years ago. Any other race outside of that was not here for more than 6,000 years ago, which he mentioned in this video, for more than 10,000 years ago. So we were here for more than 6,000 years ago plus. Us as black beings, we have 147 alien genes. Me as a black woman, in my DNA, I have an entire race of entities, which is known as the extinct race. Now, there was no remains actually found, no physical humanoid remains found, such as bones or skeletons, but this module existed within the genome of the black woman's DNA. So Yes, my DNA contains a variety of, excuse me, sorry, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so the black woman's DNA, we contain a whole module of genome within my DNA. Anyways, so black people, we don't have any Neanderthal in us, which is what I was trying to say earlier. Caucasians, they do contain Neanderthal. They have Neanderthal DNA within them. We are far opposite of that. Now, 2011, the microbiology of revolution, which is known as the mitochondria E of gene. If you are not black or of African descent, guys, you are a Neanderthal. You Caucasians, Davidians, Asians, Mexicans, these quote unquote fake $5 Indians, they share 98% of their DNA with chimpanzees. Now, like I was mentioning before, some of you may think that your ancestors are just physical beings who existed here before you and they kind of laid out the blueprint for you. Yeah, in a sense, but not really, because who they come from, who originated them. Now, I would be disadvantaged to myself to believe that my ancestors, were only just physically here on Earth. So that's when I asked myself, well, who created those ancestors? Those ancestors that I think are my ancestors, where'd they come from? So they all have to originate from some type of higher form, some higher power. Correct me if I'm wrong. But scientists, this is scientifically proven, scientists say that black people are the only and as well as true deities of this planet or this world. So anything outside of the black race or outside of the colored people, you are not organic to this planet, which means you were genetically created by another humanoid over time. Now, who created humans? Now, we all know that the Bible is a Masonic book, which was for a cultic communication between secret societies. If you are religious, that is something you need to reevaluate and go further into and ask yourself, who is this true deity and who is this Jesus Christ character, which I will be going into. But going back to my point, the Bible is pretty much a Masonic book which was used to communicate between secret societies to keep us from our higher and true spiritual journey, and to keep us in the sixth state, the child infant state, lost or asleep, as I like to call it. But in the Bible, it quoted, God said, "Let us make man in our image." God said, "Let us make man in our image." Not him. Not him, guys. It said, "Let us." So, us, as you may know, in Elohim means many gods. So in the Bible, God was translated from Elohim, which means many gods, to one God. There was never one God, guys. There was never one God. So right there, boom, that's a flip right there. That should be an eye opener to you. That's something that's transferred and manipulated right there. It was already taken from us. They already took our powers just by that scripture, taking away from me saying that I am not a God, and to look outside of myself and praise someone else, and to look up to and worship this God. So what you're trying to tell me is I'm not a God anymore, and that I should look outside of this deity that was psychologically created by someone else and worship them and give my all to them and give them my energy to further take away from myself. Yes, that's basically what it's saying. So, guys, there was never one God. We are all gods. The black, I keep saying black. The colored people, we are all gods. We all came from a identity or a group of entities that were intelligent. in order for us to be created and to come through this portal and go through this experience. We had to come from somebody. So there was never one God, guys. It was many gods, and there are these extraterrestrial deities who are black people we genetically shared lineage with and from. So we shared lineage with these higher deities which guide us and help us and love us unconditionally and pretty much just watch over us because that's who we originated from. That's who has our best hand at heart, or that's who has our best heart. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, go read the book Ring of Saturn by Norman Begram. He has a book where he mentioned and pretty much elaborated on, after working for NASA, guys, over 12 years, he's seen colored people, aka black people, getting off ships on Saturn, which was seen or resembled Negroes in America. So this Caucasian being, Norman Begram, he mentions in his book, Ring of Saturn, that he physically seen out of his two eyes after working for NASA for over 12 years, black beings, colored beings getting off of a ship on Saturn. So it's important to know where we really came from because we would need to know that to know who are we receiving help from, who are we being guided by, who has our best interests at hand, which is our ancestors. So by us being like worshipers or praisers to this outside deity, because you should never ever go outside of yourself for help, love, knowledge, or like, follow me when I'm saying, of course it's okay to go out and seek knowledge because we all have to learn from someone. But as far as taking away from you and putting that energy into somebody else, which is disadvantaging yourself, that is turning your back on your ancestors. So by me, per se, worshiping or praising this Jesus Christ character, oh, please help me, I beg you, forgive me for all that I have sinned, please come down here out of the sky and just save me. You're taken away from yourself because you are God. That's just like God praying to God saying, help me. Or, excuse me, that's just like the higher power, the mother universe, speaking to this Jesus Christ character, rather, and saying, please help me. I don't know what to do with all of my children. What do you mean? You are the creator. You are God. You are the it girl. What do you mean? So do you see how that kind of like is imbalance? Like you're going outside of yourself for validation, which is taken away from yourself, causing self-harm, low self-esteem, and self-hate. But it is important for us to know where we came from because we need to know who has our best interest at hand. We need to become beacons in order to draw in that or channel in that frequency from our ancestors to then attract whatever, whenever, which is known as manifestation. So by us being on the same frequency, channeling that same frequency from our ancestors, we are on the right path. We are being manifestors. We are staying balanced. We are on the right path. We are receiving that intellectual knowledge that we truly need. And we are loving ourselves. We are not hating ourselves. We are not trying to be like the opposite race. We are, in fact, embracing who we are and helping others to love their soul. Simple. So praying to this white Jesus character or this Chinese Buddha or Muhammad or Yeshua or whoever you praise, if you are religious, you are further taken away from yourself, which is not only not real, but was man-made. So by us or by people being worshipers, how is that benefiting? How is that benefiting you by asking this invisible deity for help and guidance and protection and abundance, faith, courage, so on and so forth. How are you talking to? It's like talking to a wall. You know, why go out when you can go in? Why go without when you can go within? So it's like you either learn how to swim or drown. Anywho, having your best interest at heart. So like pretty much, how is someone who has no relations with you having your best interest at heart? How is your next door neighbor more nurturing to you than your mother? If you get what I'm saying. So it's basically understanding and connecting with your ancestors or your true deities. Which is going within. That's the way. Stop going outside of yourself. Stop worshiping other deities or invisible deities who will never come out of the sky and never come down and save you. It is not outside of you to be helped. It is within. So you have to face your inner self in order to get that outer help. So yeah, moving forward, black people are the original Indians, guys. We are the original Indians, and by the word Indian came from the Latin word indigo, which means blue-black, which is a skin color. So we are the true Indians. Now, the Indians that we see today, which I was speaking on previously, we know them now as $5 Indians, simply because they aren't really Indians. They are actually Caucasians or Mexicans and even Asians with straight hair. So you realize that you may see a quote-unquote Indian with straight hair and blue eyes. That's not no Indian. We are the true Indians, for starters. And secondly, the reason why I say that those aren't Indians was because this is where the Dawes Commission comes into play, or the Dawes Rolls, if you may know it by that. This is when white people, this is when white people pretty much had other white people, or allowed other white people to sign this commission saying that, oh yeah, we're Indian, yeah, I'm Indian, okay, yeah, you sign this too because you're Indian too, and we're all going to receive help and benefits from the government, which they do that now. But you probably don't need a little bit more proof now, but way back then, other white people allowed white people to sign this commission or this Dawes Roll to act as if they were Indian, and they acted like they made it seem as though it was taken from them when they were the ones doing the taking. So they pretended they wore this mask to say, oh, I'm Indian, to receive benefits from the government, and stole from the true Indians. So yeah, black people are the true Indians here, guys. Now, the Black Nagas of Japan, or the Asians, said that their ancestors came from the stars, which was genetically confirmed to be black people, and star people, which were black people, came from the stars. So black people from across the world, identified with their ancestors as from the stars. So we are the star people. Go read the book Stolen Legacy from the Greeks. In that book, they pretty much explain the Egyptians, which seem to possess supernatural abilities. And I elaborated on that topic in one of my previous videos, which you guys can definitely go watch. It pretty much explained how we originated from higher deities, and this physical body that we are in took away our powers. So we now use our tongue to speak when we used to speak telepathically. We now eat food when we used to eat the sun. We now have to maneuver with this physical body when we used to do it. We used to perform telekinesis. We can move objects with our minds. So we did dim down a lot from where we truly originated from, or how it truly used to be. So yeah, The book Stolen Legacy pretty much elaborates on that, how we possess supernatural abilities. Our ancestors pretty much already laid out the blueprint for us, so everything, some people may feel as though everything is predestined, but we have a free will, and I am one of those sayers. I know there's a lot of naysayers who may say, no, we don't have free will. Well, everything is not predestined, but in order for us to receive this information from something higher, they have to be able to see the before, the after, the past, the present, and the now. So we are receiving this help from somebody, so somebody could see something, somebody controlling something, somebody is able to protect you from getting in a car accident per se, or somebody is protecting you. They make you lose your wallet, and before you can hop on the highway, you got to search for your wallet for 30 minutes in order to avoid that accident. So something can see the before, the after, the past, and the present. So some people, the naysayers, may say, oh, it's not predestined, it's just free will, you can do whatever you want, yada yada. Yeah, you are liable to speak your mind. You can do whatever you want. I mean, you can feel however you feel. But as for me, like I mentioned previously, this is my opinion. This is my theory. And I feel as though it is predestined. But we do have the free will to go about it the way that we want. So, with that being said, our ancestors pretty much already had the blueprint laid out, which our genetics really are. Like, our genetics, we hold all of this information within us as well as around us. So it is important because we are turning our backs on our ancestors. We are forgetting who we truly originated from, and we are further looking or praising this religious or this deity that not only doesn't exist but was psychologically created by another humanoid. So by worshiping these beings, which I keep regurgitating, guys, it's just further taking away from you. You're turning your back on your true ancestors. Oh, I hope this video don't stop recording. Okay. Oh, I know I said this video was gonna be short, but by us turning our backs on our ancestors and praising this deity that is invisible, it not only never existed, but it was created by another humanoid construct. It is enslaving us, and it is keeping us and hindering us from our own true spirituality, which our ancestors looking down at us like, huh? But then again, it's not your fault because you did forget. But it's up to you to remember. But yeah, we are basically practicing in an improper form of spirituality, which is causing self-hate and low self-esteem because we have no resemblance in this character that we are praising. We share no identity with who we truly look like, or we feel as though we don't share identity with who we should look like. But we, despite the fact of having a big nose, big lips, and kinky hair, simply because this Jesus character has a thin nose, straight hair with small lips. So we can't truly identify with who we look like or who we resemble because we feel like we look furthest from who we should be praising, which is not who we should be praising. That is not our God. We are our own God. And if you only knew who you truly look like and who were your true gods, you'd be more than proud to be who you are because you would love yourself and you would be like, oh, that's my real family. That feels more like home. So by practicing this false religion, you pretty much disconnect from eons and eons of information, and you never will truly experience unconditional love because you aren't being loved by this deity. Why would this deity be helping you if it's not even real? It's invisible. It's like talking to a wall. It was man-made. So ask yourself why is anything outside of not like being brought up? I realized that if you didn't read the Bible, or if you didn't go to church, or if you didn't believe in this Jesus Christ character, then you're evil or devilish. Like, why is that? Like, why can't I be free-minded? Why can't I go seek my own truth? And then if I felt like that was the way, then that would be the way. But no, it was always forced on me and drilled in my head that if I didn't go to church and if I didn't read the Bible, if I didn't study the Bible or praise or worship this Jesus Christ character, which I am a victim of because, once before I did go to church and I did read the Bible and I did worship this other invisible deity. But why was it that by me not wanting to do that, or if I just so happen to not want to do that, I would be going to hell, or I'm devilish, or I'm evil? So you got to look at the statistics, guys, and say, like, everything is forced. Anything that is forced on you typically is not righteous. So you want to do your own research. You want to look into your own truth, and you want to have your own mind. Because you are your own guide. Your ancestors would be proud if you just took a step back and reanalyzed everything that you learned. Try to unlearn what you've been taught and learn it on your own and get your own perspective on it. So yeah, pretty much carry out the agenda, guys, that is in your DNA. What is being subjected to you falsely is being forced upon you, which is what I just said. But follow what your DNA is telling you, guys. If you follow that, and if you do that, if you listen to your inner you are then following the agenda of your true creator, who has your true interest at heart. I'm gonna wrap this video up as I'm trying to speak through all of these notes that I have, but the solar system and the cosmos are continuously speaking to us through our DNA, guys, which is why I said that we are closest to plants, trees, and the sun and nature, because we are that. We are one with all, and all is one with us. Now, with that being said, we receive new information every day, every 8 minutes and 15 seconds to be exact, because that is how long it takes the sun to hit Earth. So as long as you are being exposed to the sun, you are receiving new information from not only within but from outside, from the radiation from the sun, the light codes from the sun, which is why it is important to get sun. But moving forward, as long as you're in the sun, you are being guided and sent with or hit with levels and levels of radiation. So with that being said, if the universe created everything, and if we are the universe, guys, if we are one with all and all is one with us, why would the universe be lying to us? Our true creator, our true deity, why would it be lying to us within if it wasn't the truth? So these are just some things you want to kind of think about and try to step outside of the box for a second. Stop going with the flow, because dead fish go with the flow. Fish alive and have a mind of their own swim. You are not a dead fish. So swim, find that truth, seek that truth, and just step outside of the box. And if it feels right just for a second, then truth resonates with truth. You'll feel it before you know it. That's why your heart was created before your mind. You can feel truth before you can even be confirmed, before it is even confirmed, So yeah, just try to step outside of the box and question everything. So that's why it's pretty much important to listen to yourself. Listen to your intuition, your inner voice. Your inner voice is both the channeling of information, guys, and the release of information genetically. So we have 3 different brains, guys. We have 3 different ways of processing information and releasing information. Now, our first brain is, you can look at it, it's not necessarily first, second, or third, but one of our brains are our hearts. Now, our heart is 100,000 more times powerful than our actual physical brain. Specifically because it has the ability to not only remember, but to think for itself. That's why you have emotions, and that's why you show sympathy, and that's why you have the ability to feel. Simply because that is a brain. It has a thought process. Your stomach, secondly, is a brain as well, simply because it has the ability to feel and to know. That's why people say go with your gut, or follow your intuition, or for example, when you go into a room, like, you may be like, oh, the vibe is off, or it don't feel right. I feel like something bad is going to happen, because your intuition, your gut, it feels that it has the ability to think. So, and of course, your physical brain is your third brain, or your first brain. That is your subconscious and your conscious thoughts. But all three is your brain, and you have the ability to not only channel in information but release information. And you not only have the inner knowledge for yourself because you are God, but you are receiving that higher powered knowledge from your true deities, your true creators, from the sun. So we have three different levels of thinking that is taking place, and then we got thoughts not only being generated by us, but spiritually, electromagnetically, through our higher beings. So these light codes are being installed within us through our genome, and it is not only being processed at all times, but we are receiving it from the sun. So it's like a killing two birds with one stone. If you are in tune with your ancestors, you are not only processing your own information, not only through your brains with an S, but your dreams, your intuition, your higher gods, your ancestors, however you want to look at it. You are always being guided in the right way, in the right form. So by subscribing to a deity that not only doesn't exist, guys, that was made up by another life form, it is taking away from you, and you are turning your back on your ancestors. And try to look at it as if you're almost hurting your ancestors' feeling. It's like, I know they say no one's left behind, but it's up to you. It's for me to show you the door, but it's up to you to walk through that door, and others like myself. So we can tell you this all day and all night, but it's up to you to open that door and go down that rabbit hole. But without further ado, just get back in tune, guys, so you can receive information, and the right information, from the higher help. And furthermore, not going outside of yourself, but rather going within. Does that not feel better to you? To go within and stop going outside of yourself, taking away from yourself, giving something else your energy, your precious energy that you should be protecting. So if you are in tune and going within yourself for that higher help, you will not only receive it genetically, but you will receive it electromagnetically. But I know this video is long. Oh my goodness, it is about to go on an hour. But yeah. I'm out, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's getting loud outside. Peace, love, and light. Peace. Thank you so much for tuning in.